Welcome back to Girls Across the Pond.
Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We are a mother daughter duo from opposite sides of the pond, and we get together and chat about everything and everything. And today we have a super fun episode. We didn't know what to talk about, so we are going to play some games and chat about our goals. So join us, grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and have a chat with us across the pond.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing great. We've checked off all of our boxes here in Colorado. We're still here for another month. We got everything done. And we're here for another month still. So we get some playtime. I'm really excited about it. The weather has been great. It's been cooperating. Sun's been shining. The barbecues are barbecuing. I've
The
been able to
barbecues are barbecuing. You heard it here first.
they're barbecuing. I've been seeing some of my girlfriends and hanging out, and we're getting ready to head up to Mount Rushmore, which is going to be fun. We should be doing that this week, and we are just having a good old time. I'm really excited. I have a trip to Phoenix planned. I have to go
Hmm.
for business. Yeah, in a couple weeks, I have to go out there for a business trip real quick, just a couple days. And then when we get back from that, we're going to hit the road again and head on back to Florida and assess the damage from the little hurricane that came through. Anyways, how are you?
I'm doing well. That's yeah, I not much has happened in my life. I've been reading. I've been doing lots of drumming, as if you're watching on YouTube and looking at our faces, you can see my drum kit behind me. So I've been drumming a lot, which has been fun. I just actually, like, literally just before filming this episode and recording this episode, I just had a Korean lesson with my Korean tutor, and that
How'd it
was
go?
so much fun.
Yeah.
We talked about lots of fun things like K-pop groups. We did a lot of sentence practice, but I always like really enjoy that we can spend like, well, our lessons are 45 minutes, and we spend about at least the first 20 minutes just having a conversation and just kind of like catching up. And it's a lot of like, surface level conversation, like, what did you do this weekend? Oh, did you, I don't know, why is your hobby? Like a lot of basic conversations, but we still have them and I can still converse in it, which is like really nice. And it's
Wow.
also a really nice way for me to learn new words in context versus just reading them off of a list. Like we
Yeah.
talked about like the idea of you coming to England, and like she was like, "Oh, well, what do you want to do when your mom gets here?" And I was like, "Oh, like, she hasn't come up to Leeds very much, so I want to show her everything." Kind of thing. So like we were talking about like that kind of thing, which is like a great way to practice vocabulary and activities and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was nice.
That's amazing that you can hold a conversation like that. And I've heard you speak Korean when you send me
I
these little
recorded
videos.
I recorded a little bit of it, so I'll probably put it up on my Studygram
Oh, it's
soon.
amazing. And do link, put a link in the YouTube thing so people can hear you because it's so fun what you're doing. And it's a sidebar. It's like, yeah, this isn't even my goal in life. This is just something I'm doing for fun. I'm going to meet with my girlfriend. She's so kind. She speaks Russian. I forgot this, and she invited me to go get some coffee or whatever, catch up with her this week. So we're going to do that. I'm very
Oh,
very
that's
excited.
exciting. I'm
I'm
so jealous. I don't have like any. I mean, I've got StudyGram friends who are also learning Korean, so I guess I do have friends to practice with because we just, even though they're English native speakers too, we will just converse in Korean because we're
yeah.
both trying to learn anyways. But I don't really have like any friends who speak the language like to a level of fluency. The people that I practice with are like right at my level too, so we're like, how do you say this? And the other one's like, I don't really know. We'll
Make up
just
a word.
use this one English word and then continue the rest of it in Korean.
Yeah. Yeah. I had forgotten that she spoke Russian, and I'm obviously not going to meet with her just for that. We're going to chat about all sorts of things. Simon and her son went to school together and graduated together, and you guys marched together. So we have loads in common and loads to catch up on. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking, it's so nice to have friends again because when we're in Florida and I'm just so busy enjoying the gloriousness of sunny Florida that I forget I have no friends out there. I have nobody all by myself.
I see. I just like, I never. I guess I would get a little lonely, but I don't know if I would see that as a huge problem. I'd be like, another day in paradise without people to piss me off. Like,
It kind of is. There's so much niceness out there, and
Especially with technology being so big, it's like I can just call a friend.
I know. I've Zoomed a couple of my friends since I've been out there, but that's also like a little crutch getting me through. I really need to meet some new friends, and things are opening up.
Hmm.
And speaking of opening up, it is Freedom Day in the UK today. So
Yeah.
we're recording this at 10 a.m. Colorado time, which ironically is right now. Boris Johnson is talking, and he's talking about what the restrictions are and how they will look.
Well, we
Right now.
typically film a little bit later in the evening, but I asked to film earlier because I'm going to a movie after this. So,
Oh, what are you going to see?
I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking In the Heights because I've been really wanting to see that. And
Oh,
my friend got a free ticket and gave it to me, so
oh
just a free
yeah,
movie ticket to anything.
go see that. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I was thinking that or either the Black Widow movie because I do enjoy Marvel, so
What is Black Widow? Marvel, I should know, huh?
she's an Avenger. Scarlett Johansson.
I haven't seen any of
Scarlett
those.
Johansson
I know
in
who she is.
the
She is
Avengers. Yeah,
she's amazing.
she's like one of the original Avengers, and they just finally made a Black Widow solo film, and it was supposed to come out last year, but COVID obviously delayed it, and so it just keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And this is a spoiler-free territory, so I'm not going to spoil anything that happens in the Marvel universe. But I was looking forward to seeing that one as well.
Oh, cool. I love her. Her voice is great. She has
Hmm.
just this earthy, deep, sexy voice. She's got a great voice.
You know,
Do
the
tell.
character Black Widow is, I believe she actually is Russian, like the character.
Oh, really?
So when you first meet her character, like at the very first time you see her in the MCU in the films, she has a dialogue in Russian. And I imagine it would be proper Russian because in one of the later movies they go to South Korea and they have a little bit of Korean dialogue and it was accurate because I
Yeah.
know the language enough to be able to listen to other people saying it in a movie and be like, yes, that's definitely Korean. So I'd imagine they probably would have done their fact checking and been like, yeah, here's a real Russian conversation. So if you want some listening practice, check out. I think it's just the first Avengers movie.
What's that called?
Avengers.
Oh, that's
Is
all
it
it's called.
really? Is it? I can't remember. It's been so long since I watched it. Honestly,
I
you
had
see,
to
because
try.
like what you do is you watch it in order, so that
Yeah.
you know the whole plot. But
Mhm.
then it's like you know the whole plot, so you just watch your favorite ones again when you
Oh,
rewatch.
right. Kind of like Harry Potter. Keep
Yeah.
watching Goblet of Fire. I love that movie. Um, I have that trouble with what's the Johnny Depp movies? The Pirates of the Caribbean. I I don't know which order they come in.
I have never seen one all the way through.
Oh, they're really good. And when I'm in Florida, I love embracing that whole pirate kind of thing. We're right by the Caribbean, and it just feels like you want to watch that kind of movie. And so I've been watching some of those down there, but I have no idea what order they go in.
So
They're
you're like,
just
I don't
fun.
know if this is before happened, like this entire event happened, or
Yeah,
after
yeah.
this entire event happened. We'll see.
I'll catch up. I've seen two of them. Couldn't tell you which ones I saw, but I saw two and
Mm.
they were very
I
good.
remember in middle school, we did like a medley of like a whole bunch of the Pirates of the Caribbean themes and band.
I
And
remember
I
that.
have to say, that is a fantastic soundtrack.
It really is.
It's
It really
great.
is. I remember listening, and that was one of the most enjoyable concerts that we, as parents, go through. Because, parents, we go and we applaud and everything. And,
That
sometimes
was
you
also
guys are
how I
like,
got in. Yeah, that's also how I got into Harry Potter was because we did the Harry Potter medley as
I
well.
remember that.
And I was like,
So
this
good.
music's really good. And then on the last day of band, we watched a Harry Potter movie in class because we had finished the concert, so we didn't have anything we were preparing for. So the last day before break, we watched a Harry Potter movie in class. And I was like, this is actually really good. And obviously, because it was like a short class, we didn't
Mhm.
finish the whole movie. So I
Oh,
was like,
that's
I
right.
want to know what happens. And
Yeah.
thus, I became a Potterhead.
A Potterhead. And you're a Hufflepuff? No, I'm a Hufflepuff.
I'm a Ravenclaw. How
You're
dare
a
you?
Ravenclaw. Oh, sorry. I'm a Hufflepuff. I
Not
just
that
heard on
there's anything
Twitter.
wrong with being a Hufflepuff.
We're great. Speaking of Hufflepuffs and Harry Potter, Fantastic Beast, Eddie Redmayne, who I just adore, another Capricorn. He's also a Hufflepuff.
Oh, is he really?
He is. And I just read on Twitter that he was cast in the London version of Cabaret. Have you ever seen Cabaret?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, I love it.
Is
And
he still doing Fantastic Beasts?
He is, but they're not filming right now. So he's doing some.
Right. Okay.
He's won a Tony. He's been on Broadway, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's a great actor. But he's playing the MC, which is the role. If you're only familiar with the 1972 movie Cabaret, is the role that Joel Grey won his Oscar for. So he's the MC of the Cabaret, the Kit Kat Club. Oh, I can't wait. And it's playing from, I think he's in it from November through July of next year. So if we go for Christmas to the UK, guess what Mama wants for Christmas?
Oh, very
Tickets.
nice.
I know. I'm very excited. Murphy's Law, though, I would get tickets to go see him, and I would go in on a night that he had off.
Uh-huh.
You always kind of risk that when you get tickets. Performing is the understudy,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
which is a bummer. But yeah, so I'd be excited to see that. Anyways, I have a funny story to tell you. I went to part of the reason we've come back is that I wanted to get a bunch of doctor's appointments out of the way because my doctors are still here. So I went in to one of my doctors the other day, and I had the weirdest thing happen. And I sent you a Snapchat on this.
Yeah, but you didn't actually tell me what happened.
I didn't know what was happening.
I can't remember what it was. I honestly can't remember, but I remember thinking, "Why? What are you texting me right now?" Some guy.
No, it's a girl. But it was,
Oh,
yes,
was it?
it was odd. I went into this doctor's office, and you know how it goes. They call your name and they take you on back. And then you go into the room with the physician's assistant or the nurse or whatever, and they do your vital signs and, what are you here for today? And just confirming that they've got the right patient, blah, blah, blah. So they did all that. And then she leaves the room. She said, go ahead and put your robe on. The doctor will be in a minute. And I thought, okay, fine. So I getting on my little fashion forward medical robe. And I got up on the little table and I'm just sitting there waiting for the doctor. You wait for the little knock to come on the door. And I heard a knock and I kind of looked over and this person walks in that I'd never seen before. They weren't dressed in any medical attire. And I get that I'm old fashioned and traditional, but when I go to a doctor's office, I kind of expect a doctor to be dressed like a doctor.
They're like House. He just walks in wearing normal clothes.
Yeah, and that's okay, I guess. I just sort of expect it. And the doctors I go to, this is not a prerequisite or anything, but the doctors I go to happen to wear lab coats and things, and that's fine. And they have their little badge and whatever.
And their pocket full of pens.
And their pocket full of pens and their little
And this man did not carry any ballpoints, and therefore I will carry him.
You're so funny.
Didn't think it was that funny. Anyways, so this guy you said it was a girl. So this girl walked into a room wearing normal human clothes, and you
How
were like,
dare
"Oh my
she?"
god."
Well, she didn't have a
Triggered instantly.
stethoscope on. Who was this person? So they walk in, they said to me, they said, "Hi." And I was sitting there on the table and I went, "Hi. I don't know who you are." And you're supposed to be in this private room, and she comes in and she's got a little plastic bag, not a plastic bag, it looks like a lunch bag. And I thought she was going to eat her lunch right there. I don't know what was going on.
She secretly got taken into the break room. And the other lady was like, "What is this patient doing in the employee break room? I'm just here to have my lunch, and here is a patient in a garter. Like, what the heck? Get out."
It was just all amiss. Why do these things happen to me? Why can't I have a normal doctor's appointment? So she comes in with her little brown bag and sets it on the table and then starts rummaging through all of the drawers at the table, the countertop. And she pulls out a microscope. Boom. It's a big old microscope on the table. I'm like, okay, now I'm in the lab room. I'm a little
Just
rat.
going all over the office today.
What is going on here? And so she's pulling out all these little slides and things and cleaning everything up.
Microscopes.
Getting on her little gloves and like snapping them, and like surgery is going to happen right in front of me. I don't know what's going on. So she starts working on her stuff, pulls out of the brown paper bag a little urine sample from somebody. I'm like, oh, this is charming. I don't even know if this is HIPAA right. So she's starting to work on her stuff and standing around, and I'm looking at this person. She is in this attire is totally fine. It's going to sound condescending what I'm going to say. She was in sweatpants and they were sort of rolled up, and she had Crocs on with socks, and she had tattoos on her legs, and then she had a sweatshirt on and her sleeves were rolled up, and she had all sorts of tattoos on her arms, which is fine. It just seemed weird in a doctor's office. And she had some stuffs shoved in like a pocket. So one of her pockets was really bulging on one side. The full image of this was like, what are you doing here? And then her phone rings. And so she takes a call. Hi. And I can only hear the one side of the conversation. No, I'm still at work. I'll be here till 5. Yeah. Can you get the kids? Okay. Yeah. What do you want to have for dinner tonight? Kind of in the mood for a burger. Yeah. This is full conversation. And that's when I grabbed my phone and thought, what is going on here? Who is this person? So she finishes her lab work and hangs up her phone and throws everything away, puts the microphone away, and walks out.
I would have said something.
I was tempted to, but then I thought, I don't want to be that person. And I didn't know if she was prepping for some stuff. Well, until she pulled the urine sample out, then I knew she wasn't doing anything for me. But I didn't know if she was somebody prepping for my appointment or what. I don't know. And then the doctor came in and everything was fine after that. But nothing was
Did you say
said.
anything to the doctor?
No, because I didn't want to be that patient to be like, private room next time. I didn't know what to say to them. It was just the weirdest thing. Like people don't
I
do
would
that.
have asked. I think just like out of sheer curiosity, I would have been like, so why are you doing that here?
Yeah, but
Like,
what if
like not in a rude way, but like, am I in the wrong room?
she wasn't supposed to and I just got her in trouble?
Well, then she shouldn't have been doing it there. It's not your fault.
I like to keep the peace.
Ah,
See episode 2. I don't know. It was
that's
very
weird.
weird. Very weird. I have never been part of
and now you've seen somebody else's urine.
Yeah, that was charming. Yeah, that was bad. But my appointment went well. Everything's good. Check marks all over the place. Life is good right now.
That's good.
Yeah. So I want to chat about your goals because you pulled out something the other day. We were having a conversation, and I have to tell you, I had such a nice
Sorry.
I had such a nice conversation with you the other day. I picked up the phone to go on my walk, my workout in the morning, and I thought, oh, I'll call Ems while I'm out here, and we ended up talking for almost 4 hours.
Yeah, because I was having a breakdown about how messy my room was. I was like, I can't clean it, Mom. I can't clean my room.
It was great.
Just like that.
I absolutely loved it. I felt like, wow, we really got caught up on a lot of stuff. And hopefully today's Freedom Day in the UK and borders are opening. So I've booked a trip to hopefully get over there in September. But we'll see. I can't seem to get any answers on if you're not a UK national and you're coming over, if you still have to quarantine. The UK nationals do not need to quarantine if you've been fully vaccinated. I am an un-UK national. I'm an American citizen coming over, but I'm fully vaccinated. So I'm hoping I don't have to quarantine, but I can't seem to get that answer. Hopefully Boris is talking about it now. Anyways, one of the things you were talking about on our 4-hour conversation, you pulled out your little jar. Tell me about your jar again, or tell everybody about your jar.
I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't know why this has just come up in conversation with friends lately, but like the question of whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. And I think in general, I consider myself more of a pessimist, but I don't think that's true when I think it through, because I kind of have like a pessimistic mindset just like about the world, as in like I'm a little more like straight to the point and being like, okay, in that matter, I'm a pessimist, and like I don't want to go through all the frilly talk, like small talk and all that kind of thing. Like, okay, meh. So I guess it can seem like I'm a pessimist, but I think in general, especially when setting goals and stuff up for myself, I think I'm not even maybe an optimist, but more of like an idealist, a realistic visionary. I don't know. That's something that I think is that I do. But anyways, to get back to the point, because I assumed like that I was a pessimist, I wanted to work on being more optimistic. So what I did this year when I moved off to college was I started this little jar thing where I would write down good things that happened over the year. Not every good thing, just when I remembered to. And I'd put it in the jar, and then at the end of the year, I'd have a whole bunch of little things in the jar of good things that happened, and I could go back and read them. And I'm not going to lie, by February, I had forgotten.
But by February, I mean like in the school year. So starting from September through to February. So I did it pretty okay. Not just from January to February.
That's what I thought. That's why I'm like, well, that lasted.
No. So I did it for a couple of months, but I think when I started getting like focused on moving out and all that stuff, I just completely forgot by the end of the year with all the projects and all that yada yada. But I've got, I think like I counted yesterday or whenever we were on the phone, and I've got like about 13 of them.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't necessarily think you're a pessimist. I think you're more pragmatic than anything. I think you're very real to things. So you don't get overly excited about reality. You don't get really let down about reality. You're just like, yep, is what it is. Even when I
think that's true. I feel like the correct way to describe it is I'm a realistic idealist, where like I have like the idealistic image in my head and the idealistic vision, but I'm like, okay, but let's be real and figure out how to make that accurate kind of thing. So there is like this idealistic mindset, but I feel like I'm very like realistic about it.
Yeah. So my first thought is if you're not optimistic, then you're automatically pessimistic. But I wouldn't call you pessimistic at all. At all.
Especially because I've been around people who are proper pessimists, and it's like, okay, I'm not a pessimist.
Yeah, they're exhausting, man, aren't they?
Especially with my friends, I'm an optimist, because like if I have a friend that's like really down on something, whether it's like they're actually upset about it or they're just complaining, one of my first things is like, oh, well, look at it this way. And that's not something a pessimist typically says.
No.
So.
Yeah. So take that label of pragmatic and use that.
Yeah.
That's more you. Okay. So I would like you to open these because you started to, and I went, wait, let's do it on the podcast because that'll be fun.
Yeah. So I don't know what, I can't remember what these are because I have a really bad memory. So I don't remember what these are. I don't know if I'm going to want to read all of them or if I'm just going to read some of them, but we'll look through and see what happens.
You can read them quietly to yourself.
Yes, I'll do that. The first one, starting off strong, it says, Marcus Lee, he's a K-pop idol, made an Instagram, ayo, what's up, and sunglasses smiley face.
What does that even mean?
I said Mark Lee made an Instagram, ayo, what's up.
Ayo, what's up?
That mean?
Ayo, what's up? What's that mean?
Just like, ayo, what's up? Like, yeah, bro, he made an Instagram.
Did you actually write that?
I literally wrote, ayo, what's up? And then I also wrote, and then I wrote another swear word underneath it, but I'm not going to say that out loud on the podcast.
I can't imagine writing, ayo, what's up? That's
AYOWASSUP. Ayo,
nice.
what's up? That's what I wrote with the little smiley face. And then there's a swear word underneath it, but I won't say it for the sake of keeping this family friendly.
What letter does it start with?
B.
Oh, okay, got it.
Took you a second to recall.
I am
Let me
nothing
think back to
sure.
all of my, let me think back to all of my extended vocabulary of swear words. Okay, anyways. Number 2. You can hear like some tape peeling ASMR. Okay, this one is really long. Ooh, this one's even dated. It's the 6th of October. It was a Tuesday, apparently. Okay, so today I had a lecture with 2 of my production professors, and I was the student that walked them through a mix staging, and I got it all right. Then one of the teachers started asking me about 48 volts, and I said, he said, I'm only asking you more because you're getting them all right, so I'm going to start pushing you. And then I said, yay, way to go, me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's the perfect type of thing to write. It's just remembering
little fun things.
Nice.
But also, it's very important when important people make Instagrams. So I think that's also a valid thing to write down. Okay, here's another one. This is from the 10th of December. Lucy came back to town today. Lucy is my flatmate. Lucy came back to town today and we got boba, smiley faced. I missed hanging out with her because she went home for a little bit. We didn't get long, but it still made my day. I'm so pumped for semester 2.
Nice.
That is what I said. Yeah, so during like lockdowns and COVID, my flatmate went home early and I was all lonely. And she came back for like one day to look at flats. And we had like a little sec to go get boba, and that was like really nice.
I remember that. That's great. And the fact that at the end of your first semester at college, you're actually looking forward to second semester. I think that's pretty unusual. A lot of first semesters just tough being away from
Yeah.
home and on your own and stuff. And so that's nice that you were optimistic at that point.
Mm. This one is from November 9th. It's pretty short, but it says, I'm going home for Christmas. Yay. I'm going to see Aaron again with like, Aaron's my best friend back home. And it says, yay with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A's. Yay. Just like
Nice. I love
Wanna
how
keep
when you
reading?
think about coming home, it's always about seeing your friends and never seeing your family.
I'm sorry. That's a given though.
I still would like to hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna see mom again. Yay! And you get 6 A's, not 5. Higher
Why?
ranked in A's. Because then it's a longer yay.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Feel
All
better.
right. This one is. So this one is another one that's kind of like the Mark Lee made an Instagram one. This is from the 20th of November. And it just says B released today. B is an album by BTS. So just the release of that album. And it just says B released today. Bops served. That's the whole thing. As you can tell, sometimes it's about looking at the little things
It is.
that are important. So prioritizing small things like a new album coming out. As a music student, that's very important to me.
I think what you just said is pretty profound because people get tied up in all the negatives and forget that, you know what? There's a whole bunch of little positives out there.
Yeah, that was the goal with this.
Yeah.
This is another one from November, 16th of November, and it's I finished my essay for one of my classes today. Check mark.
Nice.
You know what? I got an A on that essay.
Good job. Yeah, you've done really, really well for first year.
All right, let's go on to the next one. October 14th. This is another small one. It says, got some yummy boba yesterday and studied a lot and hopefully learning lots too. That was probably
Nice.
studied a lot of Korean because I usually use the term study when I talk about Korean and not about school related stuff because I don't study that. Okay, that made me sound like a bad student, but you don't need to like sit and study like recording. You record. You know what I mean?
May I note that you've put 2 positive things about boba so far into your little jar?
Oh yes, boba is a very important part of my life.
Nice. Oh, I
It's a
did that
very-
backward first. I should do it this way.
It's a very minute thing that makes me very happy. So
What did that face?
oh, okay. So this is I couldn't understand what I was saying because it sounded more like a negative, but it is a positive. I was like, what? I was like, why would I write that down? So this is like once again from November. Apparently November was a hot month for me. So this is November 10th. It said I had my in-person Mac lab, which is a class that we have in the conservatoire for production students, where you go into like literally a whole bunch of Mac labs and just work through recording DAWs. So I had an in-person Mac lab today and it went very well. I was expecting to get overwhelmed and frustrated, but I actually followed along the whole time. Plus, bonus, I am really vibing with my fit today. Don't know what the fit is, don't know what the fit was, but I was vibing with it.
Vibing with the fit?
My outfit.
Oh,
Fit is like a slang. So I'm really vibing with the fit today. Means like I really like the way I'm dressed today.
oh,
Don't know
man.
what it was.
I'm so glad I'm here at this podcast because my vocabulary is expanding with all of the millennials or Gen Z.
Only got a couple more, but here we go. This
That's
one's
okay.
from October. Ooh, okay. So I was talking with a flatmate tonight, and she said that she was talking with somebody on a different course, and they said to her, so this is somebody speaking to a friend, and then that friend telling me about it, they said, oh, there's this one girl, Joan, and she really knows what she's doing on the production course. And that was what somebody said about me when I wasn't there. So that was really exciting. And that was at the very beginning of the semester. So first impressions.
So somebody else in another program had heard about you on your program.
Yes. Which I thought
Nice.
was really exciting.
Nice.
Pumped. Yeah. Oh man, this one's in Korean. Okay, so what it actually, well, it just says today I got, I bought some pens, new pens, and they arrived, which made me happy. And I also bought I bought 2 books, and I really like reading. So that's what it says, but it's literally written all in Korean.
But it's in Korean. That's cool.
Yeah, I must have written it in Korean because they must have been Korean books, and it was just like in my head, like I was just like focused on Korean at that moment, and I probably got the pens for Korean practice, like writing in Korean. But yeah, Korean, cool.
There it is.
Yeah. All right, there's only a few left, so sorry.
No, this is good. I want to hear
Alright.
how happy you were in your own little element out there.
Okay, so this is the 13th of October, and it just says, had a good studio seminar with my 2 production professors this morning. And also, I finished a cover.
Nice.
Good things, good things. All
Good
right.
things happening.
Oops. This one. This one has no date. It says, got in the bookstore and got some new reads. Bookworm Club, what's up? With a smiley face with stars for the eyes. Apparently, I write what's up a lot.
That's okay.
I think
Was
my
that all?
writing tone. Yeah, that was all. That
Oh,
was the whole
okay.
thing. I think my writing tone is just very like more pumped than my normal self.
I think that's wonderful. I mean, you had some nice small moments. I mean, there's
Oh,
no
I have
big.
one more.
I know, but there's no big Yahoo moments out there, but there's lots of little blips that are good. And that's what
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
out of this, which is wonderful. Okay.
Mm.
Finale
The last
one. Here we
one-
go.
The last one was one I guess I already said, but I guess I wrote it twice because I was really excited for it. But it says going home for Christmas, and then it says hands up, say holla holla with the smiley face with the stars in it again. Hands up, say holla holla. So
Nice.
I apparently was very excited about coming home for Christmas. That really shows when I say I have a bad memory, I feel like a lot of people will, out of like pity or just not wanting to like feel down, will be like, no, I'm sure you've got a fine memory. But the fact that I probably wrote that within a day of each other, it's like, I'm going home for Christmas. 24 hours later, I'm going home for Christmas. Like, I just like forgot I wrote it down, so I was like, oh, I got to put this in the list. Wrote it
Remember,
down
Dad?
twice.
Dad told me one time there was a guy on a talk show, and it was back in like the 70s, and he had short-term memory loss from an accident, and he literally would forget things he did 2 minutes ago. And
Yeah.
when he was talking about a time he went to the grocery store and he had to have a list, otherwise no way he could figure out what he needed. But he had a list, and on the list it said bread, and so he was in the bread aisle and he grabbed some bread and put it in the shopping cart, and then he looked away, and as soon as he looked away he forgot he did that. So he looked at the list and it said bread, and he went and he grabbed the bread and put it in the shopping
no.
cart, and then forgot, and before he knew it his whole shopping cart was full of bread, and he looked at it and he thought, oh my god, where'd all this bread come from? But he had no idea he had done it because short-term memory for him was
Yeah.
gone. What a terrible thing. So yours is doing good if it was a
That
day.
is, it is interesting. The idea of short-term memory loss is interesting to me because it's like, if that memory was not short-term, does it ever go long-term? Like the fact that he remembered that story implies
Yeah.
that it would be long-term. Here's Jones fun facts. When you're like so drunk to the point where you forget stuff that happened, like that drunk that you can't remember, like, oh, I can't remember what I did last night. You literally get to a point in your brain that the alcohol like is so like in your blood that your brain isn't, it's not that you're making memories and then your brain just forgets them. It's literally that your brain is not even remembering it like in the moment either. So it's like your brain isn't even making the memories in the first place. That's what the alcohol does. I've actually never gotten to that point because I don't enjoy alcohol that much, but
What
now
is
I
it
know.
in the alcohol that does that? Because I've had certain wines that have done that to me. If I have this one particular wine, I have to be very careful if I drink it. And it's not even that strong. It's kind of a stupid wine.
Mm.
I have no
I'm-
memory of the night before. Zero memory.
That's interesting. I couldn't tell you. It would have something to do with the fact that like I'm assuming it has something to do with how heavy or lightweight each person is, because especially like if you're saying I have certain wines that you can drink that make you go out and have fun nights quicker than other ones do. It's different for every person, so every person would have a different effect. So I would say it's not the same element in every single drink.
Oh, and every drink. I always drink at home for the most part. If I go out to dinner, I'll have a beverage. But yeah, no, that one was weird. I mean, I could sit down and have a glass of wine and be watching a movie, and I would just wake up in the morning and think, I don't remember the movie, going to bed. I have
wow.
no memory of it. It's just like wipes the memory out. I gotta be careful of that one. Ooh,
I've
scary
never
stuff.
gotten that drunk, and I do not plan on getting that drunk.
I know. I don't enjoy being that intoxicated.
I'm not saying that just because like I'm on a podcast with my mom. Like that's not why I'm saying it. It's just like I honestly really have never felt that desire. If you need alcohol to have a fun time, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. But if you want to, that's fine. You go do you, but I don't.
I don't do that.
I don't
Okay,
do
so I
that.
have a game for you in our game day thing, and this is a fun thing I saw on the internet, and I've expanded on it. I saw a small version; it had like 10 of these, and I thought, oh, I bet there's more. And so I went out and created my own list, and this thing has probably, oh, I don't know, 35 of these. Where's the rest of it? There it is. There. Okay, so what this is we speak the same language as the people in Britain, in America, but we use different words for them. So we'll have a word for trash, and the Brits will call it
A waste bin. Or
no,
bin.
trash.
Rubbish.
The rubbish. Yeah, I'm like
the
stuff
actual
inside.
trash itself.
Yeah.
I always think you're talking about the bin.
Right. So the words that mean the same thing, but they're different words. So I have a bunch of these. So I want to quiz you to see how many of these you've actually heard since you've been in the UK, and you may be using these already. Who knows?
Okay.
Okay, so trash is the first one. Okay, in America, we would say we were going to go get takeout, and you would say
Take away.
take away. Exactly. And when I say you, I mean the Brits.
Yeah, the Brits.
You
People
in Britain.
where I am.
When I'm cold, I would put on a sweater. In Britain, they would put on a
Jumper.
jumper. That's the funniest word to me. If you are writing with a pencil and you make a mistake, you would use your eraser. And in England, you would use a
Eraser.
no.
That's what they call them here.
Oh, Dad actually calls it the rubber.
The rubber?
A rubber.
I've never heard anybody use that here.
Oh, really?
Everybody just says eraser.
Oh, okay. We say soccer. Brits
Football.
say football. This one I didn't know. This was off of their list. We would say okay, and in England they would say
All right, fine. I don't know. What give
They
me
wrote-
an example sentence.
they wrote the word grand. I don't know that I've ever heard that. So I would actually
that feels like really old.
yeah, I
not
would
gonna
hear
lie.
brilliant more than grand.
I
Oh,
think
it's-
yeah, brilliant's probably more accurate.
yeah.
Brilliant is like London though. That's like South British.
Is it?
I
It's
mean,
brill.
I've heard it used up north, but I think it would be used less frequently
Yeah.
than somebody in South England.
Yeah, I used to think it meant, oh, it's brilliant, but it doesn't. It just means, it's brilliant. It's brill. Good. Yeah.
People
fine.
say, what was it? There was one phrase that really threw me off when I first heard it. It was something about an idea or something, and I thought I could understand it at first, and I understood what it meant. What?
It's probably on my list coming
Oh.
up.
No, I don't think it was. But I'll look it up because it wasn't. Well, then we can skip the question if it is on your list.
Okay. Keep looking it up. In America, we have a last name. In the UK, they have a
Surname.
surname. Exactly. And in America, I don't know if you know this one. We say first name, and in England, they say
First name.
no, they say Christian name.
I genuinely can tell you, even amongst my Christian friends, they do not say that.
It's your Christian name. Yes. We get the mail. You get the
Post.
yes, and we go on vacation, and you go on.
Holiday.
We have a flashlight, and you have a
Torch.
torch. I think that's so funny. Torch to me is like flames.
Oh, the phrase that I was thinking is when people say that's a good shout.
Oh, I've never heard that.
I would always see it in group chats, and people would be like, "Oh, that's a good shout," meaning that's a good idea that you've had. Oh, that's a good shout. And when I first heard it, I got that general idea based off of the context that I was in, but I was like, Huh?
Shout.
Okay. It like took me a second. Yeah. But people won't just say like, "Oh, I've got a shout" or anything. It's only like just that one phrase, like, "Oh, that's a good shout."
Like a reply to a comment.
Yeah.
Interesting. We have on our cars, we have blinkers. I call them turn signals.
Indicators.
Indicators, yes. We have a roommate. You would have a,
Flatmate.
that's right. Trains ride on a railroad out here, but out there they'd ride on a,
Train track. Track.
begins with rail.
Railroad. What do you want me to say? Rail track?
Railway.
Oh, okay.
It's on the railway. We have a zip code to our addresses, and you have a
Postcode.
postcode. We have a schedule or a schedule, and you have a,
Timetable.
yes, you do. I think that's odd. A timetable. We would put gas in our cars, and you would put
Petrol.
petrol. And if you have a big car, it's called a truck, and out there it's called
A lorry.
a lorry. We would go. You said you were going to go to a movie, but out there they would call it
Film.
a film. A film.
Oh, let's go to cinema.
Go to cinema to catch a film. Go to the bijou. We eat French fries. You eat
Chips.
chips, and out here we eat chips, and you call them
Crisps.
crisps.
Dude, I still get that mixed up like all the time. And at that point, I don't even know what we're talking about. And so, like, if somebody says chips, and I'm like, you mean the chips or the crisp chips?
Exactly.
And people are like, the chips. And I'm like, so the French fry ones? And they're like, yes. Like, it's just like, it's so much wasted time because I just can't tell what people are talking about.
I know, because there's 3 words and they all could mean anything. Okay, speaking of cars, the front of the car, we out here would call the hood. You would call the
bonnet.
bonnet. And
Dude,
the
I'm
back,
so bad. Is the boot.
the boot, the bonnet. Exactly. We would call it the hood and the trunk. We have a pharmacy where we get our drugs. You have a,
Pharmacy as well. We also use the word pharmacy because it's called Boots Pharmacy.
okay, the person who creates the drugs is called a pharmacist. Out there, he'd be called a
Pharmacist.
chemist.
Oh, really?
A chemist. And you were talking about going to the film. We would go to the theater, and you would go to the
Theatre?
theater, the cinema. I think you actually said that.
Oh, I did say that. Sorry. I thought you were talking about play theater.
Oh,
on stage.
yeah. No, sorry. Okay, and we would have cookies, but you would have,
Biscuits?
yep. And when we go out for a run, we would put our sneakers on or our tennis shoes. And you would put on
My sneakers, my tennis shoes,
Trainers?
my trainers. Yeah. that's it.
trainers. Yeah. And the thing, if you ever go over to England, and
I think they say
make-
that in the East too, like in New Jersey and stuff. They say trainers.
Oh, is that right? Here in America?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
interesting.
so.
I've made the fashion mistake a couple of times going over to the UK and wearing trainers with pants like I would out here in America. And we wear trainers or sneakers with anything. I would go throw on my Nikes and off I'd go. But in the UK, you really should only be wearing your trainers when you're training, and you would wear other shoes that, or they're
I don't
certainly
think
not.
That's a general rule of thumb.
No, but they're not shoes that you would work out in. I mean, that looks like a tourist over there. So be careful not to get caught in that same mistake that I have made a number of times. In your kitchen, we have a stove. You have a
Stove.
cooker.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that?
I think people will call it either.
Will they?
Yeah.
We would say you live in an apartment, but you're living in a
Flat.
flat. And a little baby would put a diaper on in America, and in the
A
UK,
nappy.
a nappy. That's right.
The only reason I know that is literally last night I got a nappy commercial and I was laughing at the fact that it was called a nappy.
A nappy. Yeah, changes nappy.
They're like the UK's favorite nappy choice, and I was like,
The
nappy choice?
Did the baby have a little thing in his mouth that we call a pacifier or a binky?
Yeah. What did they call it here? I can't remember. My flatmate told me once. I can't remember.
It's a dummy.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
A dummy. I think that's funny. I always called them binkies. Okay, we have candy here, and you have
Sweets.
Sweets. And we would park our cars in a parking lot, and you would put them
Car park.
in the car park.
Oh my god, I've gotten in fights over that one.
It's amazing. In fights.
Yeah.
Why?
Arguments.
Why?
Also, another one that you didn't say is in the States we say graveyard, and here they say cemetery.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Going to end up in the cemetery. That sounds like equal sides, like cemetery.
Oh,
Symmetry.
symmetry? Well, it's spelled cemetery, but they say cemetery.
Cemetery. We would drive fast on the highway, and you would do so on the
Motorway.
motorway. And which motorway goes around London?
The 22.
Oh, so close. 25.
Ah,
No worries. We
that
have cell
memory
phones.
thing not working out too hot for me. The correct answer to that last sentence you were about to ask is mobile.
The mobile. If you don't want to call me on my mobile, then don't call me
These
on my
days-
mobile.
These days, people just say iPhone. Or
Yes,
just
the
phone.
phones. Your phones, yeah. We take an elevator up to the next floor. You would take the
Lift.
lift. If you go to the UK and you're looking for the sign of an elevator, you won't find it. Just look for the sign that says lift. We would go downtown into the middle of a city, and you would go to the
City center.
city center. Yes, that's right. It's really good. Oh, here's the other one you were saying before. We call it garbage. You call it
The bin.
no, the actual garbage,
The rubbish.
the rubbish.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know this one. We call things liquor stores out here, and out there they're called.
Off license.
Oh, you do know that? Yeah, I didn't know what that was. The first time I saw that, I had to ask Dad, "What does that thing mean?" Yeah, an off license. Okay, 3 more.
Off license has more than just liquor, though.
Does it? Is it like
it's
a liquor
little
store?
bit. It's like a 7-Eleven without the petrol.
But you can get gas there.
No, not an off license.
What did I just say? You can get gas there?
Yeah. It's like, no, I said it's a 7-Eleven.
Feel free to
without the
edit that
petrol.
out. But you can get alcohol there.
Yes,
It's a liquor store. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Out here we would line up, and out there you would get into the
Queue.
queue. And if you need to relieve yourself, we would go to the restroom. But out there you would go to the
Toilet.
toilets. Big old signs. Toilets. I've actually seen signs that say female toilets, and I think that's so funny. It's almost like, why would you put a gender on that? Ladies' restroom, female toilets. It just sounds funny. Trailers here are called
I don't know.
caravans. He's called a caravan.
Caravan.
And the last one, when I booked my trip to go over to the UK, I made a reservation, but in the UK they call it a
Booking.
booking. There you go. You know those really, really well. How many did you know at home? Did you follow along, and how did you do on that? Let us know. Comment below. Okay, so that was fun. I have one more game for us, if you're up for it. And
I
I've
am
asked you
up for it.
I've asked you to do some homework on this little guy. And that is, I came up with some characters that I want to describe for you and see if the descriptions, if you can come up with who the characters are. And you could do that for movies, TV shows, books. We said all sorts of things. What did you come up with, if any?
I didn't do characters. I did books.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry. I thought that's what we had agreed on.
That's fine.
My
It might have
bad.
been.
So I'm doing 4 books.
Okay. Oh, I'm scared. Are they nonfiction books?
No.
Okay. Let's see if Ellen fails.
All right.
She's
So
gonna
you have 4
say.
characters then?
I have characters, yes, but that's okay. Go ahead and do your books.
Are we doing one at a time? You go first.
Yeah. That's fine. I just did the last list, so you go first on
Oh,
this, and then I'll
okay,
go
okay.
second.
So this first book is about a young girl who falls asleep and is whisked away to a magical world
Snow White.
with lots of different creatures, people, interactions that just like freak her out, and she wants to leave.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Oh, what
I
is
was
that? Okay.
nervous it might have been confused with The Wizard of Oz.
Ah, I hadn't thought of that. No, yeah, that's good.
Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, to be specifically.
There's a lot of ties between people think that Alice in Wonderland is related to
Drugs.
No, Alice,
Oh.
one of
Sorry.
Queen Victoria's, her third child was Alice, and Victoria, the Queen of Hearts, being the same person. That's
Oh, I didn't know
kind of
that.
been disproven, but there's definitely some parallels on that, so that's kind of fun. Okay, scores 1-0. Not that we're taking scores. Okay, I have.
You are so competitive. I don't want to play anymore. Not if
Okay.
it's the competition.
Here is my first character for you, and you should know this guy. Oh, it's a guy. I just told you that.
Spoiler.
Okay. This is a thin man with sallow skin, a large hooked nose, and yellow, uneven teeth. He has shoulder length, greasy black hair, and which frames his face, and black eyes. He wears black all the time with flowing robes, and his appearance is described as an overgrown bat.
I'm assuming that kind of sounded like Snape.
Oh, it is Snape.
I forgot that. In it, did they say, is Snape supposed to be like really, really thin in the books? I think I've just like gotten, not that Alan Rickman wasn't, but like the way you described it, I pictured like someone like really, really lengthy, lanky in my head. But I think just because I've seen Alan Rickman do so well in that role, just whenever I read the books, I just picture Alan Rickman now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it does say thin. This is a description from the internet. I just pulled it right off there. So, okay.
Okay. Well, I could, for this one, I could try and describe the character, but I like the main character of this, but I think it might be slightly harder. But I think if I describe the book, it might be a little too easy. So,
Either way,
it's up to you. You pick.
do the harder one. If I can't get it, then do the easy description.
Okay, that's a good.
As a
Okay, so I'll
backup.
describe the character first, and then if you can't get the character, then I'll go to the whole book. So
Okay.
this character is young, has dark and untamed black hair, has eyes the color of the ocean, and is a teenage boy.
Well, it sounds like Harry Potter, but I bet you're describing Percy
He does
Jackson.
not wear glasses.
Okay.
yeah,
Is it
Percy
Percy
Jackson.
Jackson? Is it?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Then I won't give you my second person because I had Percy Jackson as well.
Oh, that's funny. Wait, no, I want to see how you described him.
Well,
one that
the
you found from
description that I found was that he is described as a handsome, messy, with messy, jet black hair, Mediterranean complexion, and sea green eyes, like
Yeah.
his father Poseidon.
Yep. Were you going to say that with his father Poseidon part? Because that would have been a dead ringer.
I hadn't even really read it. I just
Oh.
snapped it off the internet and pasted it on
Right.
here, so I hadn't really read it. Okay, so this is, I guess, the second one that I will read to you. This person is described as a complex and moody character who has strict habits and is considerably untidy. He's from the 19th century England, and his character is both known on stage and screen.
Okay, can you read it all again? Because there were like really weird pauses there, so I don't think I got
There
it.
was, because his name kept popping up, and I thought, well, if I say
Oh.
that, you're going to know who it is. Okay, this is a complex and moody character who, although he has strict habits, he is considerably untidy. He lived in the 19th century, and his character was seen on both stage and screen.
Was he old?
Well, he's dead now.
Ha ha ha. Was he old?
No.
19th century?
Mhm. That's the 1800s.
Yes, I know.
Okay, I thought you should know this.
No, nothing strikes me as a dead ringer. I don't know if I know many stories from the 19th century.
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh.
Hmm.
I didn't think of Sherlock to be particularly messy. But also, I
would.
have read like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's stuff, but not a ton of it.
Mm.
Like I
just
haven't read
picture him to
any
be-
of the stuff with Moriarty. I haven't read any of that. I've only gone into the BBC versions and like, the
Mm.
version that Robert Downey Jr. was in.
Oh, Robert Downey
So I
Jr.
don't-
is such a
if
good
it's- If
actor.
it's the original Sherlock, there's a good chance I probably won't know it.
Well, that's what Safari told me.
Ah.
Okay, carry on. What's your next one?
Okay, so this is another book. This takes place, I'll throw it right back at you, in the 20th century.
Okay.
With a young orphan who arrives at the home of new foster parents. Her foster father learns that she can't read and teaches her the wonders of the written language. And she grows to love books and risks her life to save one at one point.
To save a book?
Yes.
Doesn't sound familiar at all. An orphan girl?
Well, not anymore. Well, yeah. Well, yes, she is an orphan, but like she's been fostered.
Can you read it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's a young orphan in the 20th century who arrives at the new home of her foster parents. The foster father, who is a kind house painter, we'll put that in there if you want, if that detail does anything, learns that she doesn't know how to read. And he teaches her the wonders of the written language. I'll throw in the little detail that he does this with her in the basement. They learn about the wonders of the written language in their basement. And she grows to love books and even risks her life to save one.
I have no idea who that is.
The Book Thief.
I thought the book was The Book Thief, but I thought you were describing the character, and I don't know who that is.
Oh, I was describing the book. That's the book.
Oh, I was going to say that actually. To
I
be
said
honest.
that at the very beginning. I'm describing the book, not the character. But the
Okay,
girl
I'm a
is.
loser.
Okay, I always read her name wrong when I was reading the story, and then somebody corrected me, and I can't remember which one's right. I think it's Liesel is the correct way to say it, but I always read it as Liesel.
Oh, Liesel's a girl's name.
Liesel. Liesel.
Mhm.
I think I always read it as Liesel though because it has the word lie in it. Either way, yeah, she was fostered, and she didn't know how to read. The book is narrated by Death, and I just think that was like a really great choice because it takes place in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And so she rescues one from a Nazi bonfire, which is what happens when she risks her life to save it. She pulls one from one of their bonfires when they're burning all these books.
Very nice. I did not get that. Okay, so we're each down one here. Okay, here we go. This is a strong, resourceful 16-year-old who is far more mature than her age would suggest. She's the main provider for her family, which consists of her mother, and her younger sister. She's fiercely protective of her younger sister and volunteers to take her place.
Katniss Everdeen.
Yes, it is. I have to finish reading that. Very good.
Yes.
Got one more?
Yeah, I do. My last one, I think this will be the easiest because it's kind of like there's no other character it could be.
I'm nervous
it,
of getting it wrong.
I have to try and figure out how to word it. Okay, so this main character, accidentally kills a member of their family. And while doing that, also finds out that they've also managed to how do I describe this? They've also managed to accidentally, without their knowledge, partake in incest. And when this fact is revealed, the other member of the family, not the main character, the other member of the family, offs themselves when their relationship becomes known. That was the best way for me to describe it without revealing anything really. It's a really old story. And here's okay, so this character starts off this character starts the beginning of the story like top.
Like their life could not get any better. And then they find all this stuff out and they fall. So it's like a not really a tragic hero, but like not a hero cuz it's a tragedy.
When was the story popular?
It's still popular.
When was it written?
I don't know. A while ago, a long
I
time
don't know.
ago.
Hamlet. I don't know.
Longer ago.
Oh, are we talking like the Odyssey and Iliad and that kind of stuff?
Closer.
Oh, I haven't read those. I don't know any mythology
It's
at all.
it's the story
Zero.
of Oedipus.
Oh, I would never have gotten that.
Oh, really?
No.
Oedipus, king of Thebes, who unwillingly killed his father and married his mother.
I would love to read some mythology. I haven't read any. Like any.
If you should look into Oedipus and Antigone because they have a really great stories. But Oedipus starts off as like king of Thebes, and then I can't remember if it's somebody like a fortune teller or somebody who can see like the fates tells him that like he's going to kill his father and marry his mother. And he's like, I would never do that. Because he's like, I would never do that. And, you know, that's like fated to him at the beginning of the story. And basically that's what happens. And it's interesting to watch it unfold because you don't expect it. You expect it to unfold, but it doesn't unfold the way you would expect it to. Like, it's not like he goes up to his dad and is like, die. And he looks at his mom and is like, oh my, like kind of thing. It's a lot more hidden than that. So it's a really interesting story. So I would recommend checking it out.
You know, I think a lot of people are like me that are interested in mythology, but it's almost like this like esoteric world. It's like, how do I even?
Oedipus and Antigone are also both really short. So like the Odyssey is a little chunky. But Oedipus is pretty short. We read it. I mean, Oedipus and Antigone, we both read my sophomore year of high school in class, and I loved it.
Yeah, I was really bummed. We didn't do any of that kind of, maybe I just missed the class. I don't know. We didn't hit any sort of mythology at all. And I would love to get into it. I will read it this week and I'll get back to you next week on it.
You're going to read it within the week.
I got nothing else to do. I'm just hanging around.
through the material.
Just hanging out. Yeah, I've been watching reruns of Friends. I mean, I have nothing to do here.
Oh my gosh,
I'm in Colorado.
kind
of boring.
I was watching a compilation on YouTube of like some iconic Friends moments, and Ross is just so funny because I see a lot of myself in Ross. When it comes to like his geeky, nerdy nature, I just like
I see my brother.
I see a lot of myself in Ross. You see your brother in Ross Geller?
100%. I can't watch that show without thinking of my brother.
For Ross?
Yes.
Really? I see him as like a Chandler.
You see my brother as a Chandler?
More of a Chandler than a Ross. Actually, no, let's be real. More of a Joey. More of a Joey. I take it back. More of a Joey. I was thinking Chandler because of his joking nature, but I would say more of a Joey, actually.
No, my brother looks exactly like Ross. He's got those eyes.
Oh, are you just talking about appearance?
Hi. That's so my brother.
Are you talking about appearance?
Just everything.
I'm just talking about personality traits. There are things that Ross Geller has said, and I'm like, those exact words have come out of my mouth before.
Like what?
Talking about paleontology.
Oh.
I always feel so bad for Ross. This is one time I always feel really bad for his character, is when they're like sitting in the coffee shop and he's like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this really interesting article I read, and they all like go I'm like, oh man, you know what? If I was friends with Ross, I'd be so interested in what he had to say. I love talking about stuff like that. Who cares about what Joe Schmo was wearing on whatever magazine cover? I literally don't give a crap. But if you want to tell me about a really interesting science article that you just read, I would be like so intrigued.
So funny.
Ross has little dinosaurs. He's a paleontologist.
I know. I think it's funny.
Watching the couch scene with like Pivot. I'm like, you had a sketch.
I'm surprised it didn't work. We were just watching that episode the other day.
I was just watching. My flatmate hasn't seen Friends. Well, hasn't seen Friends like all the way through. She's seen the first couple of episodes of Friends. but hasn't actually watched the show. So she like pretty much knows like all the characters on a very surface level. And we were watching like a compilation of a couple of the scenes. And one of the scenes I told her to look up was when Joey was on the game show, and he goes, "Paper, snow, a ghost." And they're talking about mayonnaise, and then they go to like, I don't know, something else that's white, and he's like, "It's white, paper, snow, a ghost." It's bigger than your hand. A rock, a dog, the earth. I just like that whole entire thing was so funny.
They're so stupid. I mean, the scripts, those actors were really, really good. Because
When
sometimes
you're
you think
making
of
a
the scripts-
building, you use something that's not called the schmoo print. Can't do that one either? Okay. It's just like him describing it was that scene was just like so top tier. He was like, "Oh, I'm writing in mine." The guy goes, "Diary." He's like, "No, more like a notebook." I can't say it. I'm sorry. It's just a very funny scene. Continue with what you're saying. Sorry, I cut you off.
I just think those characters, I mean, the scripts weren't all that funny. I mean, if you think about it, you're just taking a sofa upstairs and it gets stuck. Okay, that's not really a funny scene, but the fact those characters all were, they were just, their personalities were hilarious. Pivot!
Yeah.
You know, you could just say that word and people start laughing because that scene was so funny.
I feel the same way with How I Met Your Mother. I find that show very funny as well. In the same, I mean, they're in the same genre, same kind of appeal. It's the exact same thing. Like the stuff that they're doing isn't always inherently funny, but it's the characters that make it funny. Oh my gosh. Simon, my brother, is just like the definition of Barney Stinson in that show. And Simon doesn't watch How I Met Your Mother, but he's gotten that remark from not just me, but a couple of his other friends too. And so I just make it a point, because How I Met Your Mother is kind of like one of my comfort shows that I watch whenever I want something good to watch. I'll put it on. And there's so many times whenever I see a Barney Stinson moment of something that Simon would do, I just record it and send it to him, and I'm like, another iconic Barney Stinson moment you would do. And one of them was like, Barney had like a floating head projection in his flat. So like Ted walked in to his flat, and then just Barney's head appears like floating like in the movies, and he goes, "My son." And Ted is like, "Barney, can we just like, come on, chill, dude." I thought it was very funny.
That's definitely something Simon would do. We were watching, not to get completely off tangent, but we were watching The Night Manager the other day. Have you seen that?
I haven't even heard of it.
That's great. It's got Hugh Laurie, and he's actually being British in that. I always forget Hugh Laurie's British because he does such a good American accent. And Tom Hiddleston together in
cool.
It's good. It's a good show. It only went on for like one season. Didn't get renewed, but it feels like I'm watching a really good James Bond movie, and it just keeps going on and on and on. There's lots of death. You would love it.
What's it called?
The Night Manager.
The Night Manager. Yeah, I'll
Yes.
check it out.
Yeah, it's on Amazon or something. It got great reviews. We started watching it a couple years ago and got sidetracked with life, and so we've got nothing to do, so we decided to watch it, and it's really, really good. We're about 4 episodes in.
Oh, interesting.
Goes. Yeah. So there it is. That's all I got today, my darling.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
That's all we got. So there it is. We are definitely coming up to the end of the season, and I thought today would be it.
And then I said, "No, we're not done yet."
We got more to go. Yes, and I know I keep talking about all the material we have, loads and loads, and it's interesting becoming a podcaster. I'm going through so many tutorials and just making sure that we're on track and doing things right. And one of the things I keep hearing is make sure you have plenty of material. Man, we got so much stuff to talk about. It's almost like, well, when we get together, what are we talking about today? Well, we could do this or this or this or this. So much stuff. So stay tuned because who knows what Girls Across Pond are doing. And I'm going to be in the UK, hopefully, if all goes well, in about a month. So we could hopefully film some episodes from there, sitting next to each other, like normal podcasters do. How fun would that be?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So there it is. All right, take us out.
Oh, if you're listening to us on any podcast streaming platforms such as Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Thank you so much for being here. We're happy to have you. We hope you stick around and check out some of our other episodes. If you're watching us on YouTube and watching us have this discussion face to face, thank you also so much for being here. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on so you don't miss a single one of our uploads. We've got a ton of socials so you can join the conversation. Tell us if you got all the answers right to all of the quizzes that we were just playing, all that fun stuff. Tell us what you like about Friends, that whole fun shenanigans. We have our website, which is just Girls Across the Pond. We also have Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and am I forgetting it? Facebook, and those are all just Girls Across the Pond.
Lots of them. And we have a blog on our website, and I hope you guys check into that. We have lots of other conversations that we will finish up what we're doing here afterwards. We'll think a little bit more through and then add more to that. So there's lots on the blog as well. Comment there, check it out, check out the pictures, follow our dog. She's on Instagram.
Melody JRT.
Jack Russell Terrier.
All right.
There it is.
We will see you in our next episode.
Alrighty. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everyone.